Maybe you've just had your last child graduate from high school, or maybe your last child just got married and everybody's moved out, and now you're thinking it might be a good idea to downsize. I'm Cindy with Senior Downsizing Made Easy here in Utah County. So in this video, we'll talk about 5 reasons why it might be a terrible idea for you to downsize. The first reason is that moving costs you money. You will have closing costs. You'll have to pay for a title policy for the new homeowner. You will have realtor costs. If you're not moving yourself, you will need to pay somebody to come and move all your belongings to another house. And if that's just across town, that's not going to be so much. If it's out of state and across the country, it will be a lot more. You'll also have to spend money getting your house ready to sell, like cleaning it and painting it and making minor repairs, maybe, or major repairs, depending on what state your house is in. Maybe you have a leaky faucet or you have holes in your screen. You'll have to paint your house, maybe recarpet your house. All that stuff costs money. So for what it costs to move, you might just be able to pay a landscaper or somebody to come in and take care of your lawn for you. You might be able to pay a cleaner to come in and just clean every week or every other week, so you don't have to do that yourself. You might be able to pay people to do things that you don't want to do or things that you can't do anymore. The second reason is family. And this is a big one, because do you have kids in college, or do you have married kids? Do you have grandchildren, or do you have aging parents? And if you don't now, think a few years down the road. What do you see coming in the future? Don't you want a house that's big enough for your kids and grandkids to come back and visit you during the holidays or for a summer vacation, especially if they live out of state? Don't you want a yard for the grandkids to play in? Don't you want a gathering space that's big enough for your whole family to gather together? I know quite a few people whose families get together once a month to celebrate all of the birthdays that are in that month. So they need a bigger gathering area. I know here in Utah, it's a big thing for married kids and their kids, if they have them, to move back in with their parents into their basement for a couple of years to save money to put a down payment on a house. And I feel like that's never been more important than in the last few years, when housing prices have gone crazy here in Utah. So it's a lot more money to get into a house now. So that's a way that the parents can help the kids get into a house. I have a friend who's married and has 2 kids, and their in-laws let them move into the basement for a couple of years and save up money. And they just had them pay them money as if they would be paying a house payment. And the parents took that money and just put it in the bank. And then they got used to making that payment every month. They weren't tempted to use it on other things, like if their friends were going to Disneyland and they wanted to go, or on a cruise, the money wasn't there. That's the money that they would have been using for a house payment anyway. So when they were ready to buy a house, their parents just gave them that money and they had a down payment for their house. Also, if you have a kid or kids in college, you're going to want to have room for them to move back in between semesters, or when they're done, to have them have a place to come and stay until they can get on their feet and get a job and get a place of their own. I know for me, when I was going to college, I would come home during the summers to earn money for next year's college. So you might want to have space for your kids to do that. Or do you have lots of friends and family that come from other areas, from out of state, to come and visit? They might come to stay to go to Education Week, or to go to the women's conference, or they might want to come and stay when there's a family event going on. You want to have room for them to come and stay. Or you might want to think about upsizing. If you think you may have a parent that you're going to be taking care of in the future, you might want a mother-in-law apartment in your basement so that they can live there and have their own privacy, but yet they're close enough that you can check on them and help them if they need it. And that's convenient for you too, because you're not traveling anywhere to take care of them. They're right there with you. The third reason is emotional issues or emotional ties. Maybe change just terrifies you. You do not do well with change. You like the same routine. You like the same things that are just very comfortable. You're in your comfort zone, and you don't want to think about changing that, because right now you know your neighbors. You've lived in this neighborhood and raised your family for how many years? You know your neighbors. You know what you're getting with your neighbors. You're familiar with everything, where everything is at, all the stores, all the amenities. If you downsized and moved somewhere else, say in a condo or a townhouse, you most likely will be sharing walls with somebody else. And are you going to like them? Are they going to be loud neighbors Are they going to be someone that you like to live next door to? Will it be sad to leave a place where you have so many memories? You maybe have lived in this house for a long time and raised your family there. All your kids grew up there. Are you going to have a hard time leaving those memories behind? The last time we moved over 12 years ago, we'd spent 9 years in that house and had a lot of good memories in it. It was hard to leave that house. Now we've been in this house for over 12 years and made new memories here, so I'm used to this place, but it was hard to leave the old place. Also, you might have guilt from family, most likely your kids, who don't want you to move and move away from that childhood house where they had so many memories. They love coming back to that house and being there. So that might be another issue that you run into. The fourth reason is swapping a mortgage just doesn't make sense right now. If you have a 15-year mortgage with a 2.5% interest rate, which you probably got during COVID because interest rates were that low during that period, and they're not anymore. We're never going to see interest rates that low again. But it would be hard to leave that interest rate and swap it out for a 6.5–7% interest rate. So if you're thinking about moving to a smaller place to save money, it might not make much sense, because when you add up the interest rate in a 7% market, you might end up with a much smaller space with the same house payment. So in that case, you wouldn't save a lot of money in downsizing. The fifth reason is that you like your space. Okay, how many of us have that home gym, or you have your art studio, or your sewing room, your piano room, your wood shop? Are you going to have space in your new house to have your hobby interests and to be able to still do that? Also, will you be bumping into each other in smaller spaces? Some people just need their space. If you move into a place that's got 1 or 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, is that going to be fun for you? Are you going to be able to do that? Or is that just going to be kind of miserable if you like your space? So according to Merrill Lynch and Age Wave Retirement Study, 30% of retirees move into larger homes, while 49% move to a comparable home. So this means that half of retirees don't downsize in their last move. And from what I've seen, if they do downsize, they are not doing it at least into their 70s, maybe well into their 70s. So if you're thinking about downsizing, think about some of these points. Is it really worth downsizing? Are you going to miss all these things that you have right now? If you are thinking you really need to downsize, that you can't take care of a big yard anymore, you can't clean your house anymore or do stairs anymore, and it is time for you to downsize, then watch this next video on downsizing.